right, everyone, the Indiana Fever just pulled the trigger on a decision that fans have been begging for all season. Christy Sides, the head coach, has officially been fired, and she's not taking it quietly. Reports are rolling in that she's throwing an absolute tantrum. Think full-on meltdown mode, like a coach flipping out on the sidelines, but behind closed doors. We're talking chairs flying, papers everywhere, and a screaming match that's probably echoing through every hallway. This isn't just a typical thank you goodbye scenario. It's a messy breakup. But here's the thing. This isn't just about one coach losing her cool. Sides firing sends waves through the entire organization. And with Caitlin Clark, one of the biggest up-and-coming stars in women's basketball, right at the heart of it, this story has layers you won't want to miss. Let's rewind a bit to see why fans are treating this firing like it's the best thing since Indiana's last playoff win. Remember that ugly finals loss? Fever fans can't forget it, and the grudge runs deep. Ever since that game, Sides has been on the chopping block in their eyes. For fans, it's exhibit A of her coaching weaknesses. Poor game management, missed timeouts, nonsensical substitutions, and a general lack of strategy. Even worse, it highlighted her inability to lead a team with serious potential. But it wasn't just one game that did her in. It was an entire season's worth of questionable decisions. Imagine this. Sides is in her office, chatting with the GM. She's probably thinking about next season when out of nowhere the bomb drops. We're letting you go. What happens next? Reports are that Sides went into a full-scale meltdown. Fans are out there celebrating, practically throwing a parade, while Sides is reportedly in the office throwing anything within reach. This isn't just a firing, it's practically a scene from a soap opera. Here's where it gets really juicy though. As Sides' meltdown intensifies, she apparently starts spouting off about how she boosted morale and made the team better than she found it. Seriously? Fans are calling foul on that one. They're saying morale might have been boosted, but it sure didn't show up on the scoreboard. Game after game, fans have been shaking their heads at her bizarre decisions. Morale only goes so far when your team isn't racking up wins. But let's get to the heart of this, Caitlin Clark. If anyone was going to suffer under Sides' mismanagement, it was Clark. The rookie phenom entered the WNBA with a college career that left jaws on the floor. Fans expected big things, but under Sides, it was like Clark was playing with one hand tied behind her back. Despite Sides' confusing strategies, Clark managed to put up impressive numbers, proving herself as a game changer. But imagine how much more she could have done without her coach holding her back. The most painful moment? Watching Clark bench during crunch time in multiple games. Picture it. You've got one of the league's most electrifying players sitting on the bench when it matters most. It's like taking a race car, parking it, and expecting to win the race. And honestly, who could blame them? And it didn't stop there. Sides' knack for calling timeouts at the wrong moments became almost legendary. She'd call a timeout right in the middle of her own team's momentum, then sit there when the opposing team went on a scoring spree. At one point, she let the other team go on a 21-0 run without calling a single timeout. That's not a coaching error, it's practically sabotage. Fans started to wonder if she was even watching the same game. It's the kind of coaching that makes you want to pull your hair out if you're a fan. And then there were the substitutions. Calling it chaos would be putting it mildly. She'd bench key players during crucial plays, leaving fans scratching their heads. Players were just as frustrated, feeling like they had to battle both the other team and their own coach's decisions. It's no wonder fans and insiders started saying she was out of her league like a checkers player in a chess tournament. Coaches in the WNBA need to be quick on their feet, but Sides was always 2 steps behind. But what really sealed the deal on her firing? Let's get into the play-by-play. Indiana Fever had all the ingredients for success. They had a big 3 lineup that most teams would dream of, with a roster that had the potential to go far. But instead of guiding them to victory, Sides' choices consistently left fans scratching their heads. From weird rotations to defensive lapses, it was like she was making things up as she went along. And Caitlin Clark, she was nearly derailed by this coaching mess. With Sides out though, the Fever has a golden opportunity to turn things around. Enter Stephanie White. Fever fans are holding their breath, hoping White will take the job. She's not just any coach, she's practically Indiana basketball royalty. White's a former Fever player, a former Fever coach, and has playoff experience under her belt. In other words, she knows how to win, and her connection to the team goes deeper than just numbers on a stat sheet. She's got a 59-41 record, and she's respected across the league. Fans are praying that she'll choose Indiana, but here's the twist. There's a bidding war going on. That's right, folks. White's not just talking with the Fever. She's also in talks with the Chicago Sky and the Connecticut Sun. This isn't just a coaching offer. It's practically a fight to bring her on board. Indiana fans are hoping her history with the Fever will sway her decision. White's been part of this team as both a player and a coach, and her ties to Indiana run deep. She's the kind of coach who could reignite the Fever's flame. And there's one more reason Fever fans want White at the helm: Caitlin Clark. White's already shown she believes in Clark. When Clark broke the all-time scoring record at Iowa, White was one of the first to celebrate her, saying she believed Clark had what it takes. That's the kind of support Clark needs. And with White's strategic know-how, Clark could finally unleash her full potential. Picture this: Clark with a coach who actually knows how to harness her talent. With White's leadership, the Fever could go from underdogs to contenders almost overnight. If you thought Clark was impressive under Sides' confusing playbook, just wait until you see her with a coach who's fully invested in her success. This isn't just a new chapter for the Fever, it's the kind of leap that could turn Clark from a rising star into a WNBA legend. Clark's college success was just a preview. With the right coaching, she's about to serve the main course, and fans are ready for a feast. But here's the thing, the Fever isn't just looking for a coach, they're looking for a miracle worker. They need someone who can turn raw talent into championship gold. With White's experience, strategic mind, and Indiana ties, she might just be the missing piece. Fever fans are holding their breath, hoping she'll come home. White's passion for Indiana basketball goes beyond stats and wins. She's practically woven into the team's DNA. She's not just a good coach, she's exactly the kind of leader the Fever needs to become serious playoff contenders. So, what's next for the Fever? With Sides out and a new coach on the horizon, the future's looking brighter than ever. The Fever has the talent, they have the fan base, and now they might just have the coach to bring it all together. Caitlin Clark without the constraints of Sides' strange decisions. That's something everyone's going to want to see. This could be the turning point for Indiana basketball, and the WNBA as a whole should be ready for the impact. Hold on to your seats because the Indiana Fever is gearing up for a new era. With a coach like Stephanie White, the team could finally realize its potential. And as for Caitlin Clark, she's about to show the world what happens when you unleash a generational talent without any coaching restraints holding her back. Indiana Fever fans, get ready. This ride is just beginning. Love this video, hit like and share it with friends. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear them. And don't forget to subscribe to stay tuned for more awesome content coming your way.